Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. An official confirmation last night, the Sentinels are at it again. TenZ is back in the starting roster, can you believe it? And Dephh is making way not just from the starting team, but apparently has been kicked from the entire organisation. Sacy, potentially, or Marved are rumoured to be taking over the IGLing responsibilities, but also some strange rumours that Sacy might even retire at the end of the season. What is going on with Sentinels? How do they form this team? How do they even make these decisions? Very much interested your thoughts in the comment section below. It's absolute chaos. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Plenty to get into. First of all, just wanted to mention some quick Scrimbux. These are the current standings after week 6. I didn't even realise as well, Gen.G started out the season in the Pacific 4-0 and are now falling out of the top 10 teams in the world based on current standings. So DRX, Loud, Fnatic, Cloud9, Na'Vi gives you a pretty decent indication of what to expect come Masters, because of course a lot of these teams are going to be there if they are leading up their current standings. Of course, they've got to get to the playoffs to make that happen. But yeah, DRX, Loud, Fnatic currently undefeated still in global Valorant. Quick bit of Scrimbux as well, got to say, because 100 Thieves and Sentinels both have been the two NA teams that have struggled the most lately. And 100 Thieves struggles might be continuing. They have, well, some scrims have been leaked with them the last couple of days against Mad Lions, a team that, you know, okay, maybe they're better than people expected, but they're still not probably great. Let's be honest here, Mad Lions. And, well, they were down 10-7 on this particular scrim set, and they also played a series against Moist Moguls, and they were down 8-2 in this one. So again, just obviously it's Scrimbux, it doesn't really mean that much, but thought it was quite interesting to see the 100 Thieves aren't exactly solving their problems overnight here in terms of destroying people in scrims, as you might expect a tier 1 versus tier 2 situation to be. And I thought this is pretty funny between Ethan here and Ned, you know, by first time getting 24-0. So pretty cool stuff from Evil Geniuses actually to get those guys over, and I do very much wonder if the guards don't win Ascension and qualify next year, I would be very surprised, I think, if at least a couple of these guys don't find their way onto Sentinels. I think it makes way too much sense, to be honest, to, you know, guys like Valin and Trent and these type of players, for Sentinels not to go in for them next year. I would be surprised if they don't, but we'll see. Obviously, they could turn this season around, but the fact that Sentinels formed the potential superstar team they did at the start of the season with, you know, TenZ was there, Marved was on the bench, but always there was a backup plan, zyppan, Dephh, like two great players from the XSET team, and then Pancada and Sacy straight off the World Championship winning Loud team, put Kaplan and Psycho into the mix as well from the XSET team that was doing so well. That team should have been very good. They should have been top 3 in the Americas, like I think pretty straightforwardly with the talent on that roster, but it was an absolute disaster. Obviously there have been other issues for Sentinels over the last couple of months with the TenZ situation with Kaide, and with Pancada having to learn English and everything like this, and I think that's the issue when you put together like an international team like that is, and we'll see this with Sacy in a second, they might miss being at home. Obviously they're out there in Los Angeles. They might miss the culture and the family and the friends and the environment that they had back home, especially teaming with people of, you know, an entirely different culture and nationality. So, you know, things can always get tricky when you go for these international artists. I don't think it was necessarily a bad idea, but there are risks involved, and we'll see them potentially manifesting here in a second. So the last couple of days, there was some rumors we discussed yesterday, right, that zyppan was taking up Deph's roles. On certain maps it had been spotted that zyppan was, you know, moving into the Dephh position, and I was kind of wondering, well, if he's moving into Deph's roles on certain maps, then Dephh isn't going to be taking up the duelist role, is he? Like, let's be honest here. So the only reasonable explanation that I mentioned for you guys yesterday is that TenZ must be returning, because, you know, if zyppan's going to move into Deph's positioning, not in terms of IGLing, but in terms of what he does on the map for the certain agents, then, you know, TenZ's return was the only sensible conclusion, and that's exactly what occurred. Now, I will say here from Noyan quickly, he came up with the Bagador again, and Dephh has won this one hands down. There's still 5 hours left, but I don't think anyone else is making a comeback here. So, I mean, look, Psycho, right, the head coach for Sentinels, won it a couple of weeks back. Now Dephh is going to win it, and guess what happened to both of those individuals? They got kicked straight out of the team. Sentinels say, what's the most Sentinels thing that could happen next? And then we saw this from ShahZaM last night, kind of leaking in his Twitch chat, or in someone's Twitch chat, that, you know, there was some juice. Go look at your friends list, see who's in a custom and who's missing. The Jews, RIP, one sub to IBI League, TenZ in custom with Sentinels. So, and then it was confirmed shortly afterwards that indeed what we predicted yesterday has indeed come to pass, and TenZ is making the return. I'll just share this video for you guys. It's only about 10 seconds long. The funny thing was, right, that I believe on their YouTube channel, they put out like an 8-minute video for TenZ returning, and it was this clip and then like 8 minutes of ranked highlights from TenZ. So pretty funny stuff.
Hey, Sun City. Lots to talk about. Fuck it. I'm back.
But TenZ is officially back in the roster, right? I find it funny how, like, Kaplan every time, he looks more and more like, you know, like he's struggling, right? So you can't blame him because it's clearly managing this team is not exactly ideal. But yeah, TenZ is back in the roster. Now, what is going on with Sentinels, man? The way these guys make their decisions is absolutely mind-blowing to me because, like, let's be honest here. I know a lot of you guys said in the comment section below, even, you know, a month or so ago in a bit, drop Dephh, get TenZ in, or as it was, get Marved in, right? And put, you know, Sacy on the IGL. And that was what the community tended to think. That was their perspective, and I wasn't so, you know, and Sacy apparently didn't want to IGL, and there were some debaters to be had whether that was actually a good idea. And look, fundamentally, if the team can't work out, if the IGL isn't going so well, if the chemistry isn't there, the IGL probably has to go, and now that's what they've decided to do. So, you know, do they just make their calls based on what the community ever think, what they see on Reddit? I don't know. Or have they done this because there's a 7% chance, roughly, they make it to the playoffs? They might as well bring in the clout factor, right? I mean, as they say here, all clout, no breaks. So, I mean, it's interesting. TenZ obviously feels like he's ready to return. That certainly seems that way. I don't think he'd be stepping back in if he didn't feel like he should do. He obviously wants to come back. The team wants him to come back, and I guess the Dephh situation wasn't working, and they felt like with that roster they had, there was no way they were going to turn it around quickly enough. So I guess they thought, you know what, this is our best chance. Bring in a talented player like TenZ back into the roster, get zyppan on the roles that Dephh was previously running, and now have another player step up into the IGLing duties. It's just remarkable, though, the way Sentinels run their organization. I mean, it's just crazy how often things are changing around there. Last year, we saw with ShahZaM, the drama with the CEO, Rob Moore. I don't know if Rob Moore, like, you know, there's an argument that Rob Moore gets too involved in the day-to-day running of this team. There's an argument to say that he should just let Psycho and Kaplan figure it out themselves. Seems like a disagreement between the CEO and Psycho led to his departure from the organization. And, you know, maybe now Rob Moore stepped back in again and said, you know what, I'm not happy with this. TenZ has got to come back in because, you know, can't have a player like that on our bench when we're going into two crucial games where if we lose any one of them, we might not qualify. And look, they play Crew next, right? The 0-7 team. So that's going to be an absolute whirlwind. It's also pretty interesting, I will say, that TenZ and Marved are now on the same team together. You guys may know about, you know, the comments that Marv made on Kaide a couple of years ago now. I think it was during TenZ's Cloud9 days possibly, but I did wonder if we'd ever really see the day where those two would actually be teaming on the same organization at the same time, but that is going to be the case going forwards. I think it's a good move, right? I mean, TenZ and Marv, phenomenal players in their own right. So it's remarkable stuff, though, and apparently, according to George Getters, Sentinels and Dephh have parted ways. Now, George said on stream that this is a parting of ways, i.e. a mutual parting, they both agreed, but fundamentally, Dephh wouldn't have just left of his own volition, would he, right? Like, the organization has kicked him. It's pretty obvious that he has gone the way of Psycho, that his contract has been terminated and he's out of there, maybe. He's not even on the bench anymore, apparently. Dephh is just straight up gone. So that is it. That is the chances for Dephh on Sentinels out of there, and now they have no real substitute options on their bench, I suppose, if they were to need one, but I guess they think they probably won't. They'll stick with their current roster, and that's their plan. The question is, though, who's their IGL going to be? And this tweet from Sacy I thought was remarkable, actually. So he tweeted this out very shortly after the announcement came through for Sentinels, and if we translate this from the Portuguese, it says, first of all, basically, firstly, great day to everyone. Great day, everyone. It's a great day to all. So obviously, this could be just a nice greeting to everyone, saying, you know, it's a great day, everyone, enjoy it type thing. Or, you know, definitely, because this was tweeted out very shortly after Dephh departed from the organization and they made the change for TenZ coming back in, it might mean that Sacy is like, yeah, I'm glad Dephh is gone. It's a great day, right? So we don't really know, but it's just interesting to see that he tweeted this out at that particular moment. And the rumor has it that Sacy is most likely the IGL, with either Marved helping out as a secondary caller, or it could be Marved as the IGL with Sacy secondary caller. We don't really know because there were some rumors a little bit ago now that Sacy didn't really want to IGL, and, you know, Marved gave a lot of credit to Deph's IGLing just a week and a half ago, and now he's gone from the entire organization and isn't even on the bench anymore. So Probably it'll be Sacy main IGL Marved with the secondary calls, but we'll see. And look, if Sacy's numbers drop drastically because IGLing is difficult, then don't be massively surprised. But I guess this is what they think is their best chance now, because they've got so much talent on their team theoretically. To underperform as hard as they have done is completely unacceptable, obviously. And, you know, look, their roster's been through absolute turmoil. They can't stick with a single team for more than a couple of weeks. The more they practice, the worse they seem to get. And that's the thing, right? They had that honeymoon period when Marved first came in. Maybe they're looking to get the honeymoon again, right? With TenZ now returning to the roster. Now, you know, Zekin says here, moron for this guy that says, please sub Zekin. But the other thing I wanted to mention here for you guys was this tweet here from Noyan, who said, well, the following, it's Portuguese, but once again, I'll translate it. He reckons, of course, Brazilian leaker, that Sacy is planning to retire at the end of this season. Now, whether this is retire as in, like, fully give up on Valorant, whether this is leave Sentinels and go back to a different team, because I know that Sacy's been discussing over the last couple of months in various interviews that, you know, he misses being where he was at home, like he, you know, misses Brazil, I suppose, and there's other factors I'm sure in play. I remember that's one of the reasons why he's not playing super well anyway, but yeah, apparently he's looking to potentially retire at the end of the year, Pancada maybe to MIBR, right? Who knows at this point? But I think at the end of the season, we can reasonably expect the Brazilian experiment for Sentinels to come to an end. Whatever that means for Sacy and Pancada, I don't know, but I would be very surprised if they don't go with a full North American roster next season with, you know, TenZ, Marved, as I said, bringing in maybe, you know, Valen and Trent as options, right? If the guard don't qualify for Ascension and win it, then, you know, that's a debate to be had. So anyway, 4 days time, 11 hours time as I'm recording this, Crew versus Sentinels is going to happen here, and it's not going to be Dephh, it's going to be TenZ in the roster to our understanding. It's absolutely mind-blowing stuff, but yeah, this is a big game, right? Sentinels need to win this, and convincingly, to give themselves any realistic chance. Is this going to work? Do you guys think this is like a last and final attempt here from Sentinels again to maximize the clout they can possibly get now, because there's only a couple of matches left? Might as well bring TenZ back in. It can't get any worse in the theory. Or is this actually a calculated move that might work out for them? So hopefully TenZ comes back in and does well. He definitely wasn't the problem with the previous iteration, but, you know, Marved did seem to be the solution briefly, but obviously they require additional changes to try and get to where they need to be, and well, they're going to struggle to get there. Just a quick note on Dephh as well, because we've seen many players that have departed from big teams over the last few months join disguised. I do wonder whether disguised Dephh is an option, just because they do kind of need an IGL down there, don't they? So, you know, I guess we'll stay tuned for that one, but very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.